We are no longer going to be checking passports at Iron Energy Gym. We are also no longer going to be mandating masks at our facility.
Good news! Iron Energy Gym in BC, who's gone viral for staying open against public health orders, has now added a new layer to the mix. Now that in British Columbia, gyms are allowed to phase open, they're also saying, you know what? We're not enforcing the passport anymore or forcing you to wear a face diaper. The point is they're open, but is that good enough? A lot of people got behind Iron Energy Gym and gyms in general who said enough is enough. You could see it in the comments of the posts of Global and CTV, but some of them were also saying, hey, what about the unvaccinated people? Now that you're open, like this comment here, now that you guys are allowed to be open, will you stand with the unvaccinated people who wanted you to be open and fought for you to be open too? Well, that's why I'm interviewing Brian Mark today. He reached out to me to say that he was going to be doing a special announcement that their gym was going to say no to passport and forcing people to wear masks. Now, that's crazy talk in Canada, but totally normal in the UK. No, not like Canada, especially not in BC, where our public health officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, just announced she's ordering passports to be here at least another 5 months until June 30th. We're going to talk to Brian Mark in this report. Also, quickly speak with his lawyer who's helping him with what is to come, Raminder Hare, who I happened to run into while covering Vancouver's Worldwide Freedom Rally. You can catch that full report at rebelnews.com. We're going to jump to this interview, but in case you don't know, we have a special website. It's called wewon'task.com. So if you are a business like this one who said, enough is enough, I cannot stay silent any longer about the government forcing me and my business to discriminate and segregate against Canadians. Go to wewon'task.com. You get your free sticker there that you can put up and let the world know. And if anybody wants to donate to help recover the cost for us giving those out for free, you can do that there as well. All right, Brian, it's good to see you again here at Rebel News. And a lot's went down in a short amount of time when it comes to the world of gyms. So thanks for being back.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you for having me on again.
Yeah. So, Dr. Henry at one point said, you guys are still closed indefinitely. And then, I don't know, I'd like to think that you guys were a big part of the push. Maybe the reason we saw that change a couple days sooner. From my end, I saw other gym owners kind of saying enough is enough, kind of like your guys' slogan there. And, we saw flash mob workouts happening at the gym. Am I missing anything? Tell us a little bit about how many other gyms were coming together and saying enough is enough with these policies.
We had about 100 gyms join us, gyms, yoga studios, and fitness facilities join us for Operation Greenlight. And that for us was incredible. And of course, like when we watched the Bonnie Henry update, when she basically stated that, she was going to be cautiously lifting restrictions for gyms, but not bars, restaurants, and nightclubs, we as gym owners were like, oh, that's interesting that she only did it for the gym. And it's because the gyms were the only ones that were making noise. And so we'll never actually know if we were the ones that caused the impact, because of course they would never admit it, but we'd like to think that we played a role in it.
Exactly. You won't know, but you're right. There definitely was like, there was a lot of focus on the gym and, a few politicians speaking out as well on behalf of the gyms, which I'm sure helps. So, but maybe it's the first voice that really gets the ball going. Now, speaking of which, you let me know you guys were going to be making a special announcement. By the time our viewers see it, you would have already done that announcement on Instagram. And I believe you just did it. So tell us, what is that announcement?
We are no longer going to be checking passports at Iron Energy Gym. We are also no longer going to be mandating masks at our facility. We've got a video on our Instagram right now of Bonnie Henry stating in July 2020 that masks are not an effective way to stay safe from the transmission of viruses. And then we got another video 1 year later clipped together of Bonnie Henry saying that masks are mandatory and that they help to stop the spread.
Always supported wearing masks. I've never said don't wear them. I've always said wear them where it's appropriate.
Masks for long periods of time are not recommended by anybody in any situation.
We're not wearing masks now. Would we be safer right now if we had masks on?
No, you see, these are the things that we have learned.
And so based on this misinformation and this conflicting information, we decided as owners that this doesn't make logical sense. So we're not going to follow it. And also, like, asking people for their medical information violates Canadian Constitution. And I think that this has been, widespread information and everybody's been talking about it underground, but nobody's really just like said, absolutely not. We're not doing that anymore. There's been a few people, but I think with the amount of attention that we have on social media and the accidental wave that we caused, I feel like our gym, it's literally our responsibility to do what's right next, because we were silently defiant, meaning that we were basically not turning people away based on their medical status. But being silently defiant is never going to cause change. And even though I think there's a lot of businesses that might be listening to this that were forced into an awkward situation. And the awkward situation was this. Number one, you either violate the rights of your patrons and ask them for their medical data, or number two, you get your business shut down. Those were our two choices. And so, like, for us, like, we're like stuck between a rock and a hard place, but we decided that we're not going to be stuck anymore, because if our movement taught us anything, it's that we have a voice and we can cause change. And so we took that momentum and we took that voice and we publicly announced that we will not be checking vaccine passports anymore.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Now, when I interviewed you last, I mentioned how Patty Daly specifically said, the Chief Medical Officer of Vancouver Coastal Health, she specifically said they're not seeing spread in places like restaurants or gyms, but that the passport is in place as a way to incentivize people to get, I like to say, as a way to punish people who don't. And at that time, right. And at that time you said no comment.
Passport requires people to do certain discretionary activities, such as go to restaurants, movies, gyms, not because these places are high risk. We're not actually seeing COVID transmission in these settings. It's really to create an incentive to improve our coverage.
So when you hear someone in that position saying it's not about, we're not seeing spread happen in the gyms, what do you think this is about? What do you think you're really being locked down for?
So that's interesting. And I feel like that's a rabbit hole that we're not willing to go down, because the fight that we're picking is like, we're picking the mental health fight.
So what changed from that point to now? You're like, you know what, we're just not doing it and we're happy to talk about it.
The risk involved, the risk involved. I think that every business owner that's listening to this is thinking about an army of cops lining out outside of their doors and waiting to beat them down and arrest them, right? I think that that's just a reality that we live in, is the government has made us believe that if we speak up against these policies, that we will be reprimanded and lashed, for lack of a better term. So for us, it was the risk. It was like, we were already making a big enough risk opening our doors. We were already doing that. And so we're like, we don't really want to pick that fight yet. Like our intention, Drea, was, we were like, let's get a win, let's open up all the gyms and let's get a win. And once we got a win and once the government blinked, it's like, okay, great. Now let's get our freedom back, because we just like showed that when people band together and they unite, it's powerful. Something else I want to talk about for a quick sec is, we have a green unity sign. Okay. It's called Operation Greenlight. And this is for all businesses across Canada that want to get on board. There's a green unity sign that you guys will be seeing across social media. And it's basically a green square with the word unity in the middle of it. And unity means that, like, we're all human beings. Unity means that, like, there are people that are, there are people that are and no matter what your medical choice is, you're a human being. And like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what your medical choice is. Like, I don't care if you chose to get it or chose not to. We're all humans. And so unity means, like, let's stop the division. Let's stop segregation. Let's stop talks or the talks. And let's all just remember that we're people and we're human beings, and we can unite under the cause that we've all been oppressed. I think what we need to do as people is we need to stop the talk, because all of us, whether you're or not, are being discriminated against. All of us are getting our rights taken away from us. For me, I am double and yet still I was ordered to close down my doors. And now the next move is for them to mandate the booster. And so enough is enough. We need to stand up. We need to fight. And so the green unity sign is a sign that Operation Greenlight is all uniting under. And Operation Greenlight is basically a go for Canadian freedoms.
So let's talk about the risk. You guys had some time to think about it. What do you think the risks are, and how do you guys plan to combat that? And also, how many people are on board with Operation Greenlight now?
We have over 1,500 businesses that we're talking to on a consistent basis that are like ready to make a public stand. You know, some of them are courageous at different levels. You know, some of them followed our suit instantly and just opened up their doors. And some of them are talking to us in the DMs and being like, I'm ready to do it, but I'm like nervous. So I think that I want this to be a message that like now is the time. You know, we've got the truckers that there's 30,000 Canadian truckers that are going to be off the streets, and all of the food supply is going to be like messed up throughout all of Canada. So we're all going to see the effects of the mandates. Right now in Kelowna, what they're trying to do is they're trying to mandate for all school staff. And if they mandate for all school staff, what's going to happen next? Where are they going to go? They're going to go after the kids. And so unless we stand up and unless we do something right now, like we're going to get steamrolled. And the thing is, everything in life, I believe, Drea, like I've been an entrepreneur for 8 years. Everything in life that we do has momentum, positive and negative. And so we've been in a negative momentum spiral for the last little bit now. And as you can see, like there's a wave and we're like starting to come up, and all businesses need to unite and stand up at the same time. And that's how we end this madness, is like people that own businesses that serve people need to stand up and need to fight for their rights.
Now let's quickly jump to Iron Energy Gym's lawyer, Raminder Hare, to see what she thinks the legal debate is on this subject. And then we'll pop back to the end of my interview with Brian Mark.
At the end of the day, let's say some individuals are going for a charter breach. They're going to see, is this upheld under Section 1? Was this for the public interest? I mean, how I see it, and a lot of lawyers will disagree, some will agree, is the public interest piece, yeah, sure, maybe if it's affecting a couple of people and it's been proven to work. We've been seeing that the measures have not worked. The numbers are essentially the same, and we have, an 80% vax population, maybe, right? If not more at this point. And so
we're at 82 of the eligible people.
There we go, right? And so the court system is going to have to look at how many people in the public are affected by what's happening. Because, law hasn't changed, or laws change over centuries, right? We can't say that they're not going to actually take this into consideration. Every major dissenter, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, for example, has made great change, or did make great change before she passed, when it came to gender discrimination, women's rights, etc. This is another one of those big movements that the court system, I feel, should and will have to adjust their views on. Like, this is an unprecedented time, so with that comes no precedent before this, especially when it comes to informed consent. What's informed consent? And the evidence and data that they're not releasing to us, for me, is problematic. And now that Pfizer has been essentially demanded through the U.S. court system to produce those documents within 8 months, rather than not taking accountability 75 years later is what they tried to do. The evidence that's going to be coming out is showing this was not in the public interest, and even if it was going to be considered, informed consent requires you to take the choice to have a certain risk. And right now, I think that's what we're kind of seeing the unraveling of.
The culture definitely has changed. I think the silent majority is tired of being silent. We know that the UK is starting to drop their mandates. Much of the US has been as well. And you talked about flip-floppy public health advice. Another thing with Dr. Bonnie Henry is she was actually one of the head doctors in a nurse's case where they actually went to court and won. And the outcome of that case was that they did not have to wear a mask to work, working with the sick and vulnerable, and that it should just be up to their own professional choice. Like they're smart enough. We're smart enough. We're not out to kill people's grandparents, right? We can wash our hands and stay home.
That's what they make it seem like. That's what they make it seem like. If you're not wearing a mask, you're going to kill your family members. Really? Exactly. They make you feel like that.
I know. Well, at Rebel News, we've been fighting to have freedom restored in Canada. So we wish you guys the best. We'll be following this closely. We've actually taken on, we've partnered with the Democracy Fund charity. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. And through them, we've helped crowdfund to hire a slew of lawyers that have taken on over 20 vaccine-related cases. We are actually, we've already filed an injunction for BC's vaccine passport as well, and we have some really good plaintiffs for that. So that stuff hopefully will set precedent so that we don't find ourselves in these situations again. And anybody who wants to get on board with that can check out the information there and donate if you want at fightvaccinepassports.com. The best way, I believe, to keep in touch with you guys is through your Instagram, right? Iron Energy Fitness.
Yeah, so it's Iron Energy Gym on Instagram.
Or Gym, sorry. Yeah.
And I'm one of the 4 owners. So if you guys want to follow our journey, it's Iron Energy Gym.
Right, Iron Energy Gym, and keep up the good fight. And let us know how it turns out. And I hope a lot of other people stand against segregation, just like you guys too.
Yeah, I want to say one more thing, you guys. This is an opportunity, like, for all of us, you know. And the reason we went public with it now is, like, city councilors are speaking up, MLAs are speaking up. England just dropped all their mandates. Like if you guys are waiting for an opportunity, it's right now. So I hope that when you see this video, you're ready to stand up and you're ready to fight for your rights.
Well, I think that's good news. Maybe if you're pro-segregation and discrimination, you would disagree, but this is Canada. We should be free to have our own opinions, but not free to destroy our country's liberties. Now, if you agree, please go to fightvaccinepassports.com. Help us fight back. We've partnered with the Democracy Fund charity. They've taken on over 20 cases thanks to your donations at that site. Please continue to keep this going so we get our day in court and we change precedent in Canada.